Welcome to Storycomic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 500. I'm your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com, and we're excited to have with us the internationally acclaimed and celebrated CEO and founder of Gigabyte Magazine, Barney Smith. Bernie.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
Yeah, this is exciting. I was, it's as I mentioned in my emails, it's like every 100 episodes, I always interview someone that is a derivative of either like a Bernie or a Barney or a Barnaby Smith. So you were on my list for a while. So I'm very excited that we're able to finally sit down and chat about Gigabyte Magazine. So I guess my first question for you, Bernie, and we kind of talked about it a little bit before we hit the record button, is that what problem were you trying to solve when you started or took the wheel at Gigabyte Magazine?
Well, like I was saying, I did it just for the fun of it. I was just adding videos because I was in the tech. Me and my wife were techies, even though we're in our 50s or near 60s. So we're heavily into tech. So I started putting stuff with Apple, and then I started saying, oh, Samsung. And then they had all the different conferences I would add in, Mobile World Congress and CES, because I always want to go to CES. My wife's cousin was there this year. He was at CES. Matter of fact, he's at a conference right now in Baltimore. So I said, let me put this stuff in, and maybe just for the fun of it. And then a year later, I started getting hits. I started getting emails. Hey, can you put your product on your website? I got a game for free. I got watches, headphones, just to get advertising on my website. And then I had a guy from Israel. He was writing some articles for me. So that was like, I told my wife, she said, oh my God, you might have start thinking big.
And what would you say then, Bernie, is like your editorial North Star? Meaning what makes a story a Gigabyte Magazine material story?
I guess something that people, because I also try to look at the cost of living is going up, how to find ways of using technology, something for free. I look for the free stuff first. So I try to get free information, free tech TVs, or I'm constantly walking like in Walmart. I was just there this morning looking at the TVs and so I look at what people might buy, what's affordable right now.
Right.
Even with the new MacBook, they got the Neo. I got to see that at Walmart this morning. And my wife said, I wish that had came out 10 years later or earlier, because I probably would have bought it. Because my wife, she's a gamer. She's a gamer. She does
Right.
Animal Crossing.
Okay.
So she kind of helped me out also. So I use gaming. I have gaming. So people want to look at the newest gaming platforms coming out. I have that on there. So I look for things that people want to see, the Gen Zs want to see.
As you mentioned, covering technology, there's literally something happening, an update at like every hour, it seems like. So when the tech news kind of gets noisy, how do you decide, what's a signal and what's a distraction?
Well, I use AI to figure out what's the latest trend. So and right now AI is the latest trend.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really big. A lot of my feeds on Gigabyte is dealing with AI, how to use it, how to watch out for the bad and the good for AI. And people saying, oh, it's taking jobs. Really is not. It's really not taking jobs yet.
Right.
It's a tool to use That's what I look at AI as a tool to make our life a little better. Just like the computer. When the computer came out, everybody said, "Oh, I'm gonna lose my job," but new jobs come out of the jobs that disappear. New jobs are coming. So
Right,
I use that also in my website for jobs, trying to get people, help people figure out what they're going to do because the jobs you see now are not going to be here.
right. And are you so AI is mostly what you're deliberately covering more this year for 2026 then?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Most of my articles are AI. Even when I was coming up here as a free conference, I was listening to. They were talking about the difference between Claude and ChatGPT, and I use it a lot at work. I use Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini. I use all of them.
Right. And what's your preference then out of those AI models?
That's a good question. I think I use ChatGPT more often, and I'm just starting to use Copilot because we have it on our computers at work. And it's so funny. We had a new we're getting a new CEO at my job, so I was just playing around with the strategic plan. I
Mm.
put it in ChatGPT, recreated it, and I sent it to her. And I'm like, one of the board members pulled me up yesterday and said, "Were you Bernie Smith that did that?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "She, we might have give you a job working for us because I redid it. Because right now everything is real tight with the grants and all this,
Right.
and money is tight. So I reconfigured everything. So I do use AI a lot.
From your perspective, what's the for for the what we're talking about now? What's the most underrated beat you cover that you think more people should be paying attention to right now?
Probably cybersecurity
Yeah.
because at my job we have to take a test every year because when people open up emails, they were clicking on stuff and opening it up and messing everything up. So
Mm.
right now we have a two-factor to get into our computers. We can't just get in. We put our password in and they'll ask us, do you want to text or do you want to call? So a lot of people are oblivious to cybersecurity. Even my mother, she knows anything. My wife is the one. She's taking classes dealing with cybersecurity, and she keeps me aware of what's going on. So I
Right.
think that might be the biggest. You got to watch out for the email because now people use the emails. They can use AI, and it doesn't have incorrect words like we were taught when we first took the test. They look for the incorrect words, but you can spot it out if it's asking you do it now. Then that's a red flag. It's pushing you. You got to do it. So they told us to contact the help desk and let them know.
So what's your like the stop scrolling test? How do you know when you've had a headline or an angle that lands that you see that people stop and check it out and see it and read it?
I think I look at the number of hits on
Mm.
the video. I use that. And certain creators, CNN is CNET is real big. The one I use, CNET, ETA Prime, because he builds computers and creates stuff. There's another guy out of California. He is a big creator. He started small. He got hits. He had interviews with Tim Cook. I mean, this guy. And then I got another guy who unboxes stuff, and he lets you see what the new latest technology that's coming out. So I'm ready to rebrand Gigabyte, and I'm gonna be doing some other new stuff. I might be teaching classes on Gigabyte.
Mm.
And that's what I'm working on to monetize the website.
Okay. And what would you say then, from an audience perspective or a reader perspective? What's the biggest misconception people have about running an online magazine in 2026?
They think it's real easy to do. It's a lot of work. It's just creating a web page was a lot because I
Right.
do have I use WordPress, So I have templates. I can change it around, make it look different.
Mm,
I have different customized banners that I change. I try to change it once a month. And different conferences, I put different banners.
okay.
And for Christmas, I have a Christmas thing. So it's not easy because there's a lot of work behind the
R-
scenes creating a web page.
Right. And so also too is like how do you build trust when audiences nowadays are trying to assume everything is sponsored or fake or exaggerated?
That's kind of hard because
Right.
I've been doing this for a while. I haven't gotten any negative. I've been getting a lot of positive. People want to write for me, and I've been getting resumes come to my mailbox. I get tons of resumes. Oh wow! Because I have
Yeah.
a couple other companies, and then I'm working on creating another. Like I said, creating more web pages. Even I think the day my wife is going to do. She's doing Animal Crossing, so that's going to be her revenue. She's doing making T-shirts and stuff.
Nice.
And she'll be 61 this year.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
doing Animal Crossing. So it's funny when you were saying about your wife. Everybody think my wife's Hispanic.
Yeah.
Or when I was in New York, they thought she was Muslim. And
Oh
I'm saying,
yeah.
no, no, she's a black woman. But the way she looks odd. That's when I
Yeah.
first met her in college. But she's doing tech too. We both doing. I'm gonna revive certain things. COVID took down my gymnastics
Yeah.
because we were teaching kids STEM
Yeah.
education, and it just knocked me out. So what I said was I was going to take STEM and create a magazine out of it.
Okay.
So that's
Oh,
already on ChatGPT. Already figured out. Just got to do the domain name and all that, and that's going to be done today.
okay. Well, so let me ask you then too then Bernie is like what would you say is like can you recall like what one of the stories that you put together that you're particularly proud of um because it still remained interesting?
Uh, I think it was one about blacks in technology.
Okay.
Um, it was one I just did. I didn't know it was a black guy helped with AI. I didn't know that. I found that on YouTube. That was like maybe a couple months ago, and they talked about it on TikTok. So I went and found it on YouTube, and I was like, "Wow, this guy helped with AI. He was a mathematician, and he helped with create AI. But the way he did it, he didn't make it. AI is something that everybody really needs to learn and read up on because, and right now I'm in the library and they got AI for dummies. So they got plenty of books here you can read, you can borrow. And I just read up on everything dealing with AI because it's out there. It's nothing you can do.
Right.
I mean,
And so too is like Bernie the magazine lists Baltimore, New York, and DC as the places that it's based out of. So how do those places kind of shape your point of view on tech?
well, DC is more the policy.
Mm,
I was a volunteer at the White House during the Clinton administration. So I did that from 93 to 97. So that's another thing. I ran into the tech guy who was at the White House, and we used to talk a lot. So I got a feel on for the policy. So DC is the policies for technology. New York is the finance.
mm.
New York is the financial capital. So that's where all the everything is financed through New York and Wall Street. And Baltimore is my home. So I was trying to make Baltimore like a tech hub here, like a Silicon Baltimore, Silicon whatever, to
Mm.
bring more jobs here.
And so do you see tech trends differently because you're not living inside the Silicon Valley echo chamber then?
Well, I know California's expensive to live, and I know that for a fact by talking to certain. I have a friend of mine lives in California, and he was a director, and now he's living in. I don't know. He's living in a trailer. So it is different trends. I think everybody's kind of moving out of California and they're moving, wherever I guess is affordable, and where I think most of the people moving down, like in Texas, some of the tech people moving because it's cheaper. But Baltimore is like right in the Goldilocks. You're not too hot, not too cold.
Mm.
Because the further you go up, New York is expensive. And DC is expensive. So we're right in the middle of harder tech because we do have a lot of tech companies here in Baltimore. Matter of fact, I got one across the street from my job, Waymo, the autonomous vehicles picking up people. They have an office across the street from my job. So I follow everything,
Right.
and I look at China. It's like, to me, I hate to say it, if I didn't live here, I would move to China. They're in the 22nd century.
Right.
Here, it's like we're in the 20th century. Our politics is killing us. I
Right.
mean, we
Yeah.
keep going backwards. We get a president, he takes us forward, and then we get a president, he takes us backwards, and
Right.
we're not moving forward. The jobs are disappearing. The job numbers, I do follow them also. I put them on the website because the jobs are just, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And that could be something in the near future that the kids in Baltimore, they say their grades have fallen so badly due, after COVID. The,
Mm.
the reading and the math scores are terrible. So I don't know what they spend billions of dollars on education. I don't know what's going. I think it starts at home.
Right.
Parents are not teaching the kids because the teachers can't do it all.
Well, hey there. If you're enjoying our podcast, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep this show going. We love hearing from you, so any feedback is welcome. And thank you for being a part of our podcast family and for all your support. It truly means a lot to us. No, because you mentioned earlier, so the other piece too that you talk a little bit about in your book, in your magazine as well, is Afrofuturism. I'm a
Oh
huge fan of Afrofuturism. It kind of really started with like Octavia Butler.
yeah.
And did you see like how much did you see, following the Afrofuturism movement? How much did like the like movies, for instance, like Black Panther, help to like normalize a conversation of the genre of Afrofuturism?
I think that movie. Oh my God! When I went to go see it, it was lines going all the way down, and we barely got a seat. That was $1 billion movie, and that just I was blown away about that movie, and I
Right,
and I used that movie as a guide point. So when I went to the National African Museum a couple years ago, they had an Afrofuturistic exhibit, and me and my wife took a lot of pictures, and I got to take a picture of the Black Panther suit. So that, and then I started creating, using AI to create a worlds of Afrofuturistic um, cities, and I used Nigeria. I took that, made Nigeria in the future, and I created Baltimore in the future. So it opened my eyes up. I created my job in the future, and wanted to see the board members say, please don't we don't have the money for that right now. But I look forward toward the
right,
future. The future is right around the corner,
right,
um, and that I think that movie inspired me to start Afroverse. I have a magazine called Afroverse,
right.
and it has everything dealing with, like I said, black horror, comics, sci-fi, fantasy, and I work on that all the time. It's so much
Right.
I do.
So explain to folks that are unfamiliar about Afrofuturism. How would you describe it?
Well, to explain it, it just, I guess, showing how blacks can progress in the near future or in our future. Because I
Mm,
created a planet just like something out of Star Wars. I got short stories I created. So when I think about it, it's just the blacks in the future, what we can accomplish in the near future.
right.
That's pretty much. Well, I got a definition for it. Let me see if I can find it because everybody has a different definition for it. Let me see. Okay, it's a cultural movement that uses speculative fiction, technology, myth to explore the black experience across time, space. It's a tool to reclaim and erase past and hack liberated future. So that's one of the definitions they gave.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at your going to your site that afroversemag.com. Your art
Yeah,
gallery's got some beautiful images.
and I use that. I use AI to create them.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, "How you do that?" So different parts of it, I'm ready to create shirts.
Right.
I'm ready to create all kinds of working with some authors of books. So
Right.
it's that website was it took a lot. It took a lot to do. That's why I was saying people say because I do websites. I was on a talk with a lady last night to redo her website. Her website is simple.
Hmm.
Mine is simplistic. I gotta, I add new things, subtract new things.
Right.
So it's a lot of work.
You also have some book reviews that you've done on your Afroverse magazine as well.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I had to. It took probably about two. It probably took 2 or 3 days to do that website,
Wow.
or maybe
Yeah.
a week, because I add new stuff in, and I'm about to change it again. I'm about to add. I'm working on a piece, but it's like a traveling circus. It's like an immersion tour. I'm trying to get a business plan for that. So
Right.
that's what I'm working on next. It'll take you from the past to the present, but you'll be using a VR headset. So I have to program all the stuff in. It'd be like a walking immersion tour.
Right.
I think I'm gonna pitch that to the Reginald Lewis Museum here in Baltimore or the
Okay.
Smithsonian.
How do you balance your time from like your day job to being a CEO and like of Gigabyte Magazine, but also Afroverse Magazine? You got a lot on your plate that you're working on every day.
Well, some of the stuff I do on my lunch break, or sometime I do it before we start because
Yeah.
I have to be to work at 6:30. So between 6:30 and 8:30, I can do most of the stuff,
Yeah.
and then I switch over to my job. And then when I come home, I come up. I can't do anything in my house because my cats drive me crazy. They jumping on my shoulder. That's why I had to come up here. They fighting and wrestling on the ground. They jumping on the computer. So I had
Yeah.
to come up to the library. That's right up the street from me,
Yeah.
and I just start. I use a storyboard and I just create everything together.
Right. I,
Yeah,
so
my
I guess
cats. I got 3 boys. I have 3 boys and a girl.
and so when it comes to like so from your perspective with like your magazines that you've created, what would you say is what's one growth move that worked better than you expected?
I think. Well, I guess with the Afrofuturistic, um, that's big now since Trump is cutting all DEI, all the programs. He cutting, trying to tell the African American Museum what to put in there cutting this, cutting that, dealing with blacks. So it's like, wait a minute, is it a war on me? What did I do?
Mm,
So that's what got me started that's what really got me started with the Afroverse.
right.
That was the main key. So people know you got to know where you're going. So because you look back at the past, say, hey, all this stuff that happened, you got to move toward the future. When you
Right.
look at technology, you had a lot of blacks that designed stuff that didn't get credit. And there's a lot of stuff coming out there that's like, whoa, I didn't know that we did that. I didn't know we did this.
Mm,
And a lot of people didn't get credit for anything. So that's another. I take some of the old black inventors and turn them into the present, the future. I create future pictures of them. So I took Benjamin Banneker and
mm.
created him to the future. So my next magazine is going to be named after Benjamin Banneker. That's what
Wow.
I'm working on now because he was tinkering with stuff and building stuff out of nothing and helped design DC. I mean, he did a lot. You
Right.
got Mark Dean helped with the computers. Um, it is so many people that if it wasn't for Hidden Figures, we'd have never known the black women were helping with the math, with the
Right.
spaceships. So, I mean, it's a lot. Even it's a guy in Nigeria that I'm talking to who has a comic book. I just feature him on my website. So I think I'm
Right.
gonna get back with him and create a whole section for with Africans dealing with comics and movies and stuff. That's another thing I'm gonna work on.
Right. Yeah.
And most of the people I meet are on social media, Twitter, Facebook. I met some guys at the Comic Con here in Baltimore that had that did comic books. So they inspired me to do one. So I got a couple comic books I got to create. Like you said, all the free time, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I could just create a book with short stories.
Right.
I took Battlestar Galactica and made it like an Afrofuturistic kind of thing. So I did Star Blazers was an anime. I haven't done Star Trek yet. I've done Battlestar, Star Wars. Um, yeah, there's a couple of them I work with. And then I created superheroes. A little boy. I created a superhero out of him.
Huh.
But I got all this sitting on ChatGPT, waiting for me to do something.
Do something with it.
I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna create a short story. I just gotta come up with a name. So I already reached out to the publishers so I can have a sit down and figure out what I'm gonna do.
If someone wanted to start a niche magazine today, what would you tell them to focus on first then?
I think you do the groundwork, start getting all the information, do your research first. Use Gemini, ChatGPT, start doing the research because there's a lot of stuff out there that people don't realize that we don't have a magazine on. Um, and coming to the library, that's how I realized. I look at all the noise, but I like to put it all into one pot.
Mm,
But it's a lot of niches out there that people don't realize.
right.
Like I told my daughter, she's a shopaholic. I said, why don't you create a shopping channel? Because you spend more money, you need to make it back. She got all
Exactly.
these clothes in her room. She lost all this weight. I said, well, you need to figure out a way to get rid of them. And she got all these shoes. I'm like, I said, you're gonna have to stop shopping because when you get married, because she might be getting married in another 2 years. Your husband not gonna go for all this shopping. And I said, you gotta pay because she might get a free house. I said, you
Right.
gotta pay property tax. And she said,
Yeah.
what is that? I said, you
Yeah.
gotta pay your taxes. Yeah, so it's a lot of niches out there. A lot of people got a lot of talents they don't
Right.
realize they have.
Yeah.
My wife, she has a talent, like I said, with Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
She brought some guy on there who was really big a couple weeks ago, and now she's getting all these people coming into our site. She don't have a website. I said, well, you better get a domain name. So we're gonna do that when I leave here.
Yeah.
Get her a domain name. Because I'm like, what do you? She created the brand. She did the research. I said, well, what are you waiting for? She, it's just we got our cats. They like to be nosy. They run across
Yeah.
the computer because she didn't have a gaming computer. I gave her my laptop because hers went up, and I went and bought another one.
Right.
So she's big into gaming. She's
Yeah.
great work doing the Animal Crossing.
Yeah. No, so Bernie, if people want to learn more about you and the work you do, where is the best place they could go to?
They can go to Gigabyte uh, at gmail.com
Hmm.
or bjsmith1967 at gmail.
Okay.
And I can, because I was thinking about, like I said, creating a class on how to get started on, like you just said, niche stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there people just don't know about.
Right.
And once they find out, like, oh, because the streaming income, it's big. Yeah, that was a lot of work for that.
Right.
And we went
Yeah. When they
to,
go.
and
Yeah.
we went to, I was invited to a meeting on Capitol Hill for STEM education. And I was blown away when the woman was saying we have to sneak science in. And once the meeting was over, I said, "Man, what do you mean you have to sneak science in?"
Mm.
Because they's too busy taking tests. They're getting the kids prepared for a test. And I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
So from K to the fifth grade, that's where I'm trying to work with the kids from K to the fifth grade, because that's really big. That's where the kids say, oh, I want to go into science. Once they get past the middle school, you lost them because
Right.
they so into other stuff. They're not even thinking about um, science.
Right.
Because that I was big into science when I was little. Me and my friend won third place in the science fair in high school. So that
Right.
really got me started. And I was a straight A student in chemistry and all the different sciences in high school. And I was going to take computer science. I don't know why I didn't. I went to political science, which I shouldn't have. But I'm redoing myself with the computer science because you can use AI to do all your coding.
Right.
Or you can use Base 44. Base 44, you can create, just tell it what you want. It'll create the app for you. So I use everything. Even at my age, I'm 58. I'm learning every day. I
Right.
mean, I use LinkedIn Learning. We have it on our job for free. I take all the classes. I got all certifications in prompt engineering, and I'm working on the big thing is the SEO. That's what I got to really work on. And then I want to work on marketing online. That's the next big thing I want to start working on for 2026, how to market everything. Because I have
Mm.
a friend of mine, I put him on the website you're looking at, and I can get a free, he has a gaming um, experience store downtown Baltimore. And he
Okay.
said, "Oh man, you can rent out the space for free." I said, "No, I'm about to give you something." That's him
Right.
right there. I
Yeah.
said, "I got to give you something." So he has he went from a small store that was falling apart to this long, big store. And
Wow.
I told him if I ever come into some money, I like to partner with him because I would like to put a store out here in the county. So,
Right.
because the kids love gaming. If you can get
Right.
them involved in that, that can get them good at doing math. That's what, a couple people teachers I was talking to. And I know the historical black colleges just started doing like a gaming
Right.
as a sport, esports. So that's big. And I think I might get in that next, have an
Right.
esports league here. Because you got to get the kids motivated. Because
Yeah.
one of the bad things here in Baltimore is the teen crime is going up because they don't have nothing to do. Um, schools schools is almost like a daycare center. I mean, the parents drop them off, and that's it. You know,
Mm,
most of the parents is working 2 and 3 jobs. They don't get to check homework. They don't even know they got homework. And then when report card time come, I'm like, why you got all these failing grades?
right.
Because you wasn't there to help me.
Right.
Because the streets would take them. So that's why I want to get to start teaching the kids how to do creating websites because the kids know how to do a lot. They know how to do a lot. My
Right.
daughter put together a fireplace for me. I didn't know how to do it. She just said, "Give me the thing," and she went and put it together. And her teacher was always saying her math, she was not doing good in math. I said, "Well, she did good putting that fireplace together last night." And they said, "Gabrielle did that?" I said, "Yes." I took a picture and I showed them. She
Right.
put the thing together. So I want to inspire the youth because somebody's got to do it. I mean, I want to. It's this website not even about money. I'm more of a social entrepreneur.
Right.
I'm more trying to give back to the community and give back to the state, give back to the
Yeah.
city.
And then make sure that people have the sharing information that's important to them. So
Yeah,
yeah.
because I've run into some kids. I remember Mr. Barney. I'm glad I talked to him. He showed me the right path. I'm like, wow. I ran into a young lady worked at CNN. Remember me?
So basically, the best place for people to go to learn more about you and your work, Bernie, would be going to gigabytemagazine.com because on there you have links to Stemnastics LLC.
Yeah,
You also have links to your Afroverse magazine there as well.
yep. They can reach out to me,
Yeah.
and even now with you talking to me, I'm like, wow, I can create a class. I didn't, just talking to you, creating a niche, a class to teach people how to get started
Right.
because it's a lot of people talking about it. Some of them, it's a step, it's a process, it's a lot of work.
Right.
And most people
Yeah.
think, I'm gonna make $1 million. No, no. Even the guys who it took them years to do it.
Yeah.
My wife, she got 30 followers. She's like, I said, well, you got a long way to go because she's got, I think it's 1,000 followers on YouTube. So, and I
Yeah.
think Facebook is trying to grab people now and bring them on that platform to make money too.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Well, listen, thank you so much, Bernie. And listen, when you get your comic book coming out, make sure you come back on and we'll talk about your comic books too.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work.